All right, welcome back, everybody. This is my EURUSD 5-minute scalping strategy. And before I start the video, I just want to say it's for people with low spreads. When I say low spreads, I mean 6 and under, 6 pips and under, no 10, because my spread is 3 for mine. So if you have anything over 6 pips, I wouldn't even look at the strategy. Now, for those of you who don't know how to calculate your spread, well, I have it right here. If your spread is a decimal, it's not 1 pip, 1.5 pips. That's not possible. Your spread is 15. Now, to calculate your spread, simply subtract the bid price from the ask price and you'll get your pip spread value, which for a lot of y'all is not what you think it is. So that's how you calculate it for anybody who wants to argue. Don't feel like arguing today. But here's the strategy. Now, I do have these numbers, these things right here. This is strictly for when I live traded this strategy. I did it for about a day because I just finished optimizing it yesterday. So that's when I did this. So that's where all of these are. And these are my exit points, because you do need support and resistance to exit. You can't exit based off risk reward ratio simply because you're going to get way more losses like that. So the best way is based off support and resistance. And I'll be teaching you how to do that along with the settings and everything else. But first I need to explain this. So, like I said, these are my enter and exit points. This is my enter, PP signal lined up, buy. We got another buy right here and we have another buy. So we entered right here and we got out. Why did I get out here? Simply because I took the horizontal line. And as you see, once it's in the middle of the box, it kind of lines up with a lot of the points. So that's what I did. I took the horizontal line and then I draw a box around it. Like I said, for you beginners, this is probably the best way to trade. Now, we did get a sell signal here, but we can't enter now. Why? Because it's still over the buy signal at the PP signal. So we have a sell. Now we're just waiting for the PP signal. We wait for the PP signal. We get in here. Why did I get out here? Well, I took the horizontal line and I plotted it in the middle, and it pretty much lined up with a lot of my points. I kind of wanted to be safe on this trade strictly because I didn't think it would go down here, simply because this is it was kind of forming a parallel channel, and I thought it was going to exit a bit higher, which it did. But after a continuation and a retouch of the PP signal, I entered again. But that's just how it is. It's just something you learn over trading over time. That's why I don't really like beginner scalping at all, because it's still a lot of stuff that you have to learn, and there's still a lot of patterns that will happen that you maybe don't know when you haven't looked out for. So this is a simple pattern. I just seen it and then that's it. So like I said, entered here, exited here. I think I made about $50 off of this trade. I think it was like 6 pips, 5 or 6 pips with a standard lot, and got in right here. Moved it. Got in here at the retouch of the PP signal, and then I exited here. Well, I exited here, and if we put the horizontal line in the middle, we can tell right here this is why I exited. A bunch of points touched. Like I said, I don't like always putting them at the lowest point, strictly because I don't think it'll go that low again. Now, technically we would have lost here if you trade the strategy with no knowledge of anything, but I seen that it was going to be retesting it, and I seen how the PP signal and the Lux oscillator were flat, so I just didn't enter the trade. That's the only time I'll use Lux. I don't use Lux as an enter. I kind of use it to gauge where the trend is going in a way. So don't use Lux as an enter. Use it as to gauge where the trend will be going. Now, I entered here as a buy right here, but I lost the trade. So that's fine. I expected it to go here. It didn't, and I lost. Now, so we got a sell signal here. We can't enter. Why? It's over the PP signal, buy PP signal. But once it changed, we got in here and we exited here. This connects with a trend a little bit back. We have a buy signal here. We didn't enter yet, but we entered here. The reason why we didn't enter, and if you can go in a little bit closer, you can see that the PP signal did change into a buy, and that's the reason this other PP signal is here. So basically, if this is kind of here to catch the smaller trend, so it keeps you out of trades like this where you would have lost. but you didn't because this right here saved you. So that's the reason that that is there, strictly to save you on trades like that. It does nothing else but that. So we entered again here at the PP signal change, and we wrote it up back to the same take profit position that we had. Support and resistance line that we had earlier. And we get a sell signal here, and we enter. And it goes down, we exit at a previous support. So simple as that. My bot actually entered me into this trade, and then I entered again on a scalping strategy, and I exited here. So simple as that. Now, what are the settings? Now, there is 4 indicators with Lux Oscillator. Lux Oscillator isn't needed. It's only needed to kind of gauge the trend. So if you're not looking to stay into a trade that long, you probably won't need it. But like I said, not an entry indicator at all. First one is the PP signal. It's at 100 this time, not 200. It's at 100 strictly because it gets you in a bit more wins. You also get a couple more losses, but those losses are small. So I think that's a win in my opinion. Lux Algo. Sensitivity is 15 and confirmation is 10. Only 2 settings you need to change. Second PP signal, and make sure this one is 2.0. Back period is 44, and then price is right here. And then for the Lux Oscillator, for those people who want to use it as a trend following, type is legacy. Make sure it's legacy. If you don't put it as legacy, it won't show how you want it to. So length is 40, and then I don't know if the rest changes anything. So we got that out of the way. Those are the settings, and this is just a quick how to gauge where you want to put your take profit. Go to a different trade. Now we have this sell right here. Everything enters. We don't enter yet. Why? Because the PP signal hasn't changed yet. So we enter again once it changes here. Now goes back up, retest at the PP signal, and we ride it down. But how do we know? So we pull out the horizontal line. Most likely, me being safe how I wanted to, I would have probably exited here. And I would have drew the box. So once it got close, so probably on this candle right here where it got pretty close, I would have exited. And the reason I don't always go to the lowest point is because you don't know if it will ever retrace that. I would rather be safe and collect a little bit of profit rather than take a bigger risk and have a risk of losing it all. So I usually go for points like this, especially since it had a lot of retesting and support. So it seemed like the best option for me. Now, that's literally it. As form of a stop loss, I'll show you how to calculate that also. To calculate a stop loss, you can actually just use this right here. A lot of times, if you've seen with the strategy, it doesn't really go higher than the PP signal. So if it goes like, honestly, if it goes around here, I'll usually exit. But a lot of times my trades, as you can see, a lot of times they just go. So that type is really not needed. But you would simply just use, instead of using like the 1 to 5, just use that for the take profit. For the stop loss. So right here, just for instance, pop it up. And this is what I use just to gauge my stop loss. I'll have it with settings and stuff. I'll just take the stop loss part and I won't use the take profit. I will use support and resistance for the take profit, but I will use this for the stop loss. So that's just what I use. Simple, quick, and easy.